Not quite. Morning, everyone. I think that's everyone at the moment. So good to see you all. Obviously, we've got an exciting day ahead of launching our new sales processes, which I'm hoping a lot of you will be happy with. I think we've got a few more people to let in, so we might just wait another couple of minutes just to make sure everyone gets the opportunity to come in, and then we'll get going. Right, I'm going to get going now. I think that's everyone in. If anyone jumps in, I'm sure they'll get added in and catch up quite quickly. So, share the screen. So we are launching our new sales process and procedures. I think some of you may already know this, what's coming. We have had a few one-to-ones recently. Not everyone's been on them, but hopefully you'll all be very happy with what we're looking to do in INGARDS and make the process a lot easier for you. So our goals here are to streamline our process and procedures, enhance the client experience, save you time, more importantly, allowing you to focus on generating more business, make it a lot of easier process for you, and minimize the time spent on follow-ups. This major change is you're only going to have one document for sign on each case. This is for all mortgage and insurance cases. We're going to combine your terms and business and fee agreement documents. We'll expect you to have sight of this on the outset, and for this to be uploaded 360 with the rest of your documents. So really, we want your terms and business and your fee agreements signed on the case before application. The terms of business should be issued within 5 days of your initial contact. So we do need this upfront. I know there has been processes where they're getting signed after application. We want these upfront moving forward, but there is only be one signature at the moment. I do know there's a lot of signatures that we require on our documents at the moment. It's only going to be one moving forward, so that should be a lot easier for yourselves. You will be getting your new terms of business issued. I believe you should have that on Monday. It's going to have your own fee structure on there, and you must be using the latest one once it's been issued. Anything prior to Monday will have to be used the existing terms of business and fee agreements. Your terms of business should not be edited in any way. If you are charging less than indicated, you should be addressing this in your suitability letter. You can edit the fee agreement, show your relevant client, property and fee details, and bank details if you are an AR with ourselves. If you send a document to be signed by e-sign or something similar, ensure you make the marketing preferences tickable and include the signature section for all applicants. As mentioned, we need this upfront. There's only one signature. You will be getting issued with your new terms of business. Obviously, I'm pretty sure we know your fee structures, but if you do need that amendment, just please get in touch with us. Here's a big one for a lot of you. I hope a lot of you will be excited by this, but product transfers is getting massively streamlined on our side. So we're no longer going to require a processing sheet. Just upload a screenshot showing your financial sanctions check. We no longer need the INGARDS affordability assessment. We no longer need the product fact sheet and the insurance disclaimer. And the big one, I think, for a lot of you will be that we're only going to require 1 month's bank statements and 1 month's pay slip. It's got to be the corresponding pay slip to the bank statement. So February's bank statement, February's pay slip. If self-employed, just the latest year's SA 302 and tax year overview. Regulated mortgages, again, you're going to see a repeated pattern here, but we're no longer going to need the processing sheet. Again, financial sanctions check will need to be screenshotted and uploaded. No longer need the affordability assessment, the product fact sheet, or the insurance disclaimer. We will be expecting you, though, to produce a quote for all regulated mortgages and add this to the sale. It's your responsibility to then refer the insurance or complete it yourself. Obviously, we do want you to refer in as much as possible if you're not going to write it, and we'll be discussing that later on as well. Anyone, by the way, feel free to jump in if I'm moving a bit too quickly for you here. So regulated mortgage, what we are going to require, obviously gifted deposits. I don't think there's any change to this, but you're going to need the donor's ID and bank statement showing the funds that are being gifted. Also the gifted deposit letter or the lender's own form if you know where it's already going to get placed with. Bank statements, same as always, 3-month statements, evidencing the income and expenditure, and deposit if applicable. We will want to see sight of other bank statements if there is a transfer totaling £10,000 or more. I would also recommend that all bank statements have the client's full name and address on them. Unregulated mortgages, again, you're going to see the same pattern. We're not going to require the processing sheet, affordability assessment, the product fact sheet, the insurance disclaimer. As I said, the insurance disclaimer for the unregulated side, you're going to need a paragraph in your suitability letter to confirm why that's not being done. Buy-to-let addendum. I know a lot of people did want to see us get rid of this. There's two sides to the coin on this one. You don't necessarily have to do it, but if this is a client with multiple mortgages or buy-to-lets, we're going to need to see a portfolio or include in the fact find. Most lenders are going to ask you to do a portfolio schedule anyway, so you're going to need that information. So if you can get a portfolio schedule already completed, or make sure all the details of the other mortgages and properties are completed onto the fact find. Again, gifted deposit, same as the regulated mortgages. We're still going to need those 3 months bank statements, deposit if applicable, and any transfers over £10,000 for limited company applications and over £5,000 for individual applications. We're going to need bank statements for those other accounts as well. We may also require a copy of your AST for the client. Obviously, if this is a purchase, you might not have one in place. But for remortgages, we definitely want to see evidence of the AST. Protection. I think you will be seeing a pattern here, but no processing sheet. Upload a screenshot of financial sanction checks. You're going to hear a lot of that today. No product fact sheet. We are going to need the ID and address. Just to make this clear, it does say unless an existing client. By that we mean if it's being simultaneously completed with a mortgage. If it's an existing client from 2 years ago, we're going to need to see updated ID and address. But as I said, if it's being done simultaneously with a mortgage, we'll be able to use the same documents across the board. The terms of business will need to be signed. If you have already arranged another product for the client that's been signed in the last 6 months, you can upload this instead of getting a new one signed. Don't forget to upload the policy schedule and a copy of the terms if they differ from the original quote. General insurance, again, you see in the pattern, no processing sheet at all again. We're going to need research showing that there's been requirements for £3 to £2 providers. Proof of ID and address is now required in all cases, unless, again, it's being done simultaneously with another product. The terms of business will need to be signed. Again, if it's within 6 months of an existing one, you can use this again. So just to cover that research again, it's reduced from 3 to 2 providers. Sending your documents to your clients. We won't be chasing you for signed documents anymore. You should issue the correct documents from the outset, and the clients read them, keep records of them. We will still be checking your offers and policy terms, and we'll inform you the documents are ready to be sent out. You can email through 360 if preferred. If there are amendments to the loan at offer stage, you should still amend the suitability letter and send to the client. Any changes to the fact find should also be made as well. You won't need to change an affordability assessment, as we've seen previously. This is no longer required. Hope everyone's still following. It's a lot of information to take in, but you will be issued with the processor sheets, I believe, no later than Monday. So obviously these are huge changes to the current processes. There's going to be a lot of questions from your side, I'm sure. There's obviously going to be a crossover period internally for cases that were submitted before the 4th of April, cases submitted afterwards. So make sure, we're going to make sure our lines of communication are open with you guys, and obviously be in touch if you do have any questions. So anything uploaded from the 4th of April should follow the new processes and procedures. If a case has already been started, you've got to use the old procedures. We can't cross over mid-application or mid-case. Excuse me. So reminder on the updates, help us to help you. We want to keep us both sides in the loop. As I've said there, lines of communication are well and truly open. They always have been, but don't hesitate to pick up the phone, send us an email if you do have any questions. Tell us when you've uploaded an offer or amended documents. We want to check them as quickly as we can. Drop us an email, get on the phone, put a note on the system, however you want to do it. We can then tell you if there are any further requirements. We don't get notifications when you add documents, so please respond to our emails. Please provide with updates on case if you've had them directly, particularly on major milestones such as offer, completion, or a decline. Not proceeding with. If a case is not proceeding, declined will no longer be requesting amended documents. You do need any documents you were missing at the outset or a file note if you can't obtain from the client. We will still need a cancellation note unless the lender has provided us with a detailed reason directly. So make sure you are updating the cases, make sure they are, especially not proceeding with. I know it's easy to abandon the case, but we do need this on file. As mentioned before, the change of protection, although we're not asking for an insurance disclaimer, this doesn't mean protection is any less important. We still really want you writing protection. Obviously, it's a good money maker for a few of you, and obviously you can refer it in as well. You should be discussing with all clients, including details of any existing cover on the fact find and noting the client's preferences on the suitability letter. If you aren't going to arrange the protection, get in the habit of referring it to us. Obviously, you're going to still make money off it. I know it can be a pain. let's just try and get it done. You're making money, for literally giving us the client's details. We'll monitor your conversion rate on the one-to-ones. Obviously, if you've met with me before on some of the one-to-ones, or already seen some of you face-to-face, and hopefully you will be seeing you again very soon. And new targets will be issued in the coming months for insurance. Use this paragraph in the template letter and we will automatically make contact on offer. I have asked my colleagues at INGARDS, who is a specialist in insurance, to contact you directly to discuss all of your needs. If that's in the suitability letter, we will get in touch with the client on your behalf. Case checking. You'll continue to have initial checks on 100% of the cases. A portion of your cases will also receive a full file review. However, this will now be easy for you to understand. Initial checks will be subject to a RAG system. You'll receive an email telling you your status and requesting amendments or missing documents as normal. Please respond to the initial checks ASAP. This will increase your chances of passing the full file review. So RAG statuses will be applied as below. We always want you to be aiming for green. Green is there's no missing documents or signatures. It's full steam ahead. There's no problems, and we've got every confidence in the case and that you're going to have all the documents required. Amber, one or two missing documents and or minor amendments needed. You might have just, we've all been guilty of it. You might have just forgot to upload an ID by accident. You have it, it's on file, you just forgot to upload it. That's where you're going to be hitting the amber target. So ideally, don't make those mistakes, but I do understand it's easily done. Red is when you've got multiple documents or major documents missing. So you're looking at the fact find not being completed, the application form isn't on there, research, suitability, demands and needs letter, or proof of income will class as a major. So we really don't want to be seeing those errors. So yeah, green is what we're aiming for at all times. File review parameters. Just want to highlight the bottom. This is for clarity and your understanding, not so we can cheat the system. We'll carry out additional full reviews at random, or if concerns are raised at initial check by the team or lender. So we're just giving you a bit of an insight on what we're doing here and what you need to be aiming for. Excuse me. How do we decide whether to carry out a file review? We'll be using this parameters. 100% check for non-CAS advisors all the time. All cases classified as red or non-compliant on initial check. Buy-to-let cases at 75% LTV or above. That's for both. It says CAS only there, but obviously 100% check for non-CAS advisors does exist as well. So anything 75% LTV or above is a full check for both advisors, and residential cases at 85% LTV or above does highlight CAS only, but obviously you are getting 100% check for non-CAS advisors as well. Protection, 100% check for non-CAS advisors. All cases classified as red, non-compliant on the initial check, and cases with premiums over £50 per month or a sum assured of £500,000 or more. So that's just to give you an idea of what we're going to be checking and why. Full file review grading, so we will be grading them. We will update our file review check sheets in line with the new document requirements. We've also created a new check sheet for mortgages, so we'll no longer be using the background program. Based on the documentation provided, your advice and justification, the case will be given one of 4 grade options, which are as follows: suitable, suitable with development, unclear, or unsuitable. You should always be aiming for suitable. We understand that many cases will fall under suitable with development where there are minor missing actions. As always, you'll be sent a copy of the file review, the outcome, and you will be advised of any remedial action to be taken. You know, if it's unsuitable, we've got problems. If it's unclear, we've got problems. Suitable and suitable with development, you know, is acceptable. Most cases, you know, they're never all going to come back suitable. There will be a lot of suitable with development. It's easy to miss a document or clarifying a point in some part of the case. So you will be seeing a lot more of the yellow, I imagine, but we really want to help you be getting into the green with suitable. So a bit more of a breakdown on this. Suitable, green. Our opinion is the documents, the advice and outcome are suitable for the client, and they will be able to understand the implications of the advice. This will be clear to a third party. All documentation has been uploaded at the outset and signed where applicable. Suitable with development. Our opinion is the documents, the advice and outcome are suitable for the client, and they will be able to understand the implications of the advice. This will be apparent to a third party. Key difference here is some minor remedial work may have been suggested, such as amendments to documentation. Most documentation being uploaded at the outset, but some items might have been missing. Unclear. The advice and the outcome may be correct, but the documentation does not clearly explain the recommendations or is inconsistent, which presents a risk to the client and the business, or multiple documents or 1 or 2 major documents have been missed, i.e. the fact find, research, application form, suitability letter, demands and needs. So we really don't want you to fall into that category. You know, the advice must be clear and correct, but we need also to understand the explanation. You've got to remember, you're sitting there with the client, you're going through this. It may make perfect sense at the time, but it needs to make perfect sense to us as well. Unsuitable advice is incorrect or extremely unclear, and the advisor needs to be challenged over their rationale. Potential for immediate or future client detriment is high or due diligence not carried out sufficiently. There are concerns over the information evidence provided by the client, which the advisor should have noticed, or significant failings or omissions in documentation. Multiple major documents may have been missed or fully completed. If you're hitting that unsuitable and we're getting a red flag there, we've got problems. So we will be having a chat if you're in that department. But hopefully we'll be seeing a lot of greens, a lot of yellows. Suitable with development. Unclear isn't great. Unsuitable is completely out of the question. CAS statuses, we're going to get rid of the risk rating of 1 to 5. I have spoken to a few of you guys who didn't quite get an understanding of what the 1 to 5 system was. And I don't think it was overly clear. So we've listened to your advice on that and we've made changes to it. We'll now be using 4 categories depending on experience, business levels, and existing case quality. CAS Advanced, CAS, non-CAS, and non-CAS newly qualified. You will each receive confirmation of your current status and permissions individually. There's a good chance that's going to come from me, and then hopefully you'll be booking a one-to-one session quite soon after that so we can go over it. This will be clearly detailed the parameters of each category and how you can progress to the next stage of our help. There'll be regular monitoring and reviews of statuses, and the file review stats will form part of this. So the only way you're going to get onto, if you're not CAS, the only way you're going to become CAS or CAS Advanced is by following the processes that we're implementing today, and obviously trying to hit those green sort of suitable cases as well. So I've jumped a slide too far there. Thanks for your time. It's not thanks for your time. Let's go back one. I'm actually going to be pulling up the processes for you to see now. So I'm going to stop sharing my screen while I get them up. And I'm going to show you what we're going to be issuing to yourselves. Running through what, although it's not a tick box exercise, this is what you should be referring to in every case. So just bear with me a moment.
Just while waiting for that, Tim, should we ask for any burning questions? I know there's been some in the chat, but should we ask for any burning questions before anyone forgets?
Is there a few in the chat? Is there? Because my screen's been on full screen.
Answered.
I've not
noticed. It's just if anyone had a burning question before we went through the new processes.
Yeah, no problem at all. Right, let's work our way through these. Excuse me. If for a purchase case we charge a fee and the property is changed down the line, do we need to sign another fee agreement? Ryan, do you mind jumping in on that one?
Saying that again, sorry, mate.
Do we need a new fee agreement if the property is changed down the line?
No, Natalie's already answered that. So the fee has been charged on application, then you wouldn't need a new fee agreement. If charged on completion, then you would need this. ID is required for PTs, but proof of income and bank statements requirements have been reduced.
No problem. I've got loads of AI mentions in here, so I'm trying to filter through these.
No, it's all right. Steve, which insurance quotations are you expecting? We're expecting life insurance quotations, Steve, on the back of regulated mortgages, so especially with purchases and stuff like that.
Okay. Andrew Shippey there, I can see a question saying a change or reduction to paperwork for product transfers. I don't know if we did jump through them quite quickly. We're only asking for 1 month's bank statements with name and address on, 1 month payslip or latest SA302 and tax year overview. Obviously, I will be sending over the processing sheets, so you will be able to see them firsthand. I will be running through them again very quickly. Hopefully, that answers your question. And let me just check the Q&A one as well. Keelman, have we got a template for the AST or somewhere we can refer clients to? If it's a remortgage, the client should already have an AST in place. When I've dealt with this in the past with my clients, I've always recommended them to use the RLA, which normally most landlords do normally sign up to a regulatory body like the RLA, who do provide a AST template. Most solicitors as well, when they go and do a remortgage for an applicant, will ask for a copy of the AST, so it's something the applicant will already have. I'd be very surprised they don't. Obviously, if it's a purchase application, they're not going to have an AST, so we're not going to require that. Does anyone else put anything in there, or are we good to move on?
There was one more, but Natalie's just gone back. So, yeah, exactly what Natalie said there, Gavin.
Brilliant. Thanks very much for replying, Natalie. Appreciate it. Right. Where's these processes? Hope everyone see that. So these are the processes going to be set out. There's going to be multiple documents here for the different types of cases. So we've got open here the regulated mortgage sales process. You can, if you want. I know some advisors, and I've spoken to Ryan, he's quite a fan of printing these off and ticking them off himself, although it doesn't need to be provided to us, just as to make sure you don't miss anything. Personally, I just have it open on my screen and make sure before I submit the case that I've uploaded everything here and everything's been completed. But terms of business, signed and uploaded. Photo ID, this is all stuff you already know, but we'll run through it. Proof of address, the AML and PEP check, and sanction search. Latest 3 months bank statements, the main account showing postal address. If it's showing the postal address, it's going to show their name as well. I know a few people in the past have made the mistake of uploading a transaction list. It doesn't show the name and address. It could belong to anyone. Bank statements for any additional client accounts where there's a single transaction of £10,000 or multiple transactions equivalent to £10,000 or more. If they're sending that money to another account and it appears to be in their name, get that other account as well. Latest 3 months pay slips, that's for all jobs or if they have multiple jobs. Latest 2 years tax calculations overviews, if self-employed. Obviously, if they are employed, they've got the pay slips. They may also have a tax return as well if they have any rental income. Evidence of income into requirements into retirement, if applicable. Proof of deposit if it's a purchase. Again, if many people will hold that in maybe an ISA, so obviously we've got to get that evidence as well. As we've covered earlier on, gifted deposit, bank statement from donor, ID from donor, gifted deposit letter or lender's gifted deposit form. Case documentation, again, nothing much has changed on this side. Full fact find to be completed, got to have the objectives and expectations, including vulnerable customer, debt consolidation notes, if applicable. Proof of repayment vehicle, if interest only. Proof of affordability into retirement, if applicable. Evidence of research, lender's affordability calculator, ESIS, KFI, DIP certificate, protection source and quote, suitability letter. This can be either done through 360 or the manual one. The application form, all other documents specifically requested by the lender. SA 302, additional payslips, trading accounts, bank statements, business bank statements. Some lenders will ask you for weird and wonderful things. I remember having a case a while back where they request the council tax letter. If they do request anything like that, it is a bit weird and wonderful. You're going to have it on file anyway. Just please upload it to the case as well. So you can submit the case to the CRM within 7 days of application for checking. Obviously, as we mentioned before, we do want the terms of business signed ideally before the application goes in. And there's no reason that shouldn't be done. It does follow a better process. Post offer and post submission, copy of the offer from the lender. If there have been any changes, down valuation, causing change to loan amount or product, a note on 360 to explain, and you've got to amend the suitability letter. If protection is sold, please follow the protection sales process and document requirements. There is just a caveat at the bottom of due diligence and risk assessment conditions. Has affordability been properly assessed against bank statements and the plausible assessment being applied? Have payslips been reviewed and income checked against the bank statements? You wouldn't believe how many people don't actually double check this. So if you've got January, February and March bank statements, we don't want April's payslip. We want January, February and March's payslip as well. I feel like I'm pulling teeth there, but you'd be surprised how many people don't double check that. Is the client a director shareholder? Check Companies House. I'm on Companies House all the time. It's a really good tool to use and you can actually verify. Again, to give an example of a case where we had our suspicions in the past, someone had 3 months pay slips, 3 months bank statements, all looked good. It turns out just before they were applying for a mortgage, they waited 3 months before and removed themselves as director and 100% shareholder of the company and put it in someone else's name. It's just fraudulent. So it's worth double checking if you have any doubts, and use Companies House will only take you a couple of minutes. Latest accounts and returns obtained and checked against Companies House. Again, you'd be surprised how many people can send draft accounts which look like they've been submitted. Then you check Companies House and they haven't been submitted at all, or completely different figures have been submitted. As I said, it may sound like overkill, but if this gets flagged up by for a lender, you're in serious trouble. So it's definitely worth considering. Just stop sharing again for a moment. Has anyone got any questions on that side? Has anything popped up in the chat? Having bank statement from donor for gift deposit are not by most lenders. How do we justify this to the client? Most listers request see proof of funds. So just cancel that off. We need to evidence from an AML point of view where the funds are coming from. So it's been standard across the board for other networks I've been part of. You've always got to see where the funds are coming from. I don't know if anyone else wants to add to that, Ryan or Natalie, but we always need to evidence funds. The solicitors will do it as well, but we need to have a verification for money laundering purposes where these monies are coming from, and from a financial crime point of view.
Exactly that. So you just covered it. So it's money laundering and financial crime checks.
Perfect. Have I missed? Has anyone kept tabs on these? Have I missed anything else?
No, you're good, mate. You're all right.
Good. What we're going to do now is the buy-to-let sales process. So let me just open this one up.
Probably do product transfer next term if you can.
Yeah, happy to.
Yeah, let's do product transfer.
It's hopefully going to keep everyone very happy. So we did have a question about this earlier on. I know we have skimmed through these slides very quickly. I know this time of the year is very busy for everyone as well, so I don't want to keep up too much of your time. But again, you're going to get issued with this in the coming days. Documentation initially stays the same. You need your terms of business, you need your ID, you need your proof of address, you need your AML and PEP check. The biggest change, it's 1 month's bank statement for the main account showing the postal address, latest 1 month's payslip. And obviously, if there's multiple jobs, you need more than one payslip. If self-employed, only the latest year's tax calc and overviews. So we are massively reducing the documentation required on that side. So hopefully that makes your job a little bit easier. Again, we're still going to need a full fact find completed. Obviously, any vulnerable customer notes added in. For example, something like that might be, I've had cases like this in the past myself. The reason the client's doing a product transfer is because they might have gone self-employed in the past year. So they've got no proof of income from a payslip. They've not got the tax returns yet. You need to be putting notes on for things like that as to why they have gone with the product transfer, and if there's no proof of income for that reason. Proof of repayment vehicle strategy if interest only, again noted on the fact find. Proof of affordability into retirement, again noted on the fact find. Evidence of research. When you go onto the lender's site, I don't know if you guys are doing this already, we want to see a screenshot of the products that are available from the clients, from the lender, sorry. Especially if the products aren't shown on the sourcing system, but for the sake of it, you're going to see that screen anyway. When you're on there, grab a screenshot. ESIS KFI if applicable. I know a lot of lenders don't always give you a KFI, they just give you straight to offer, so upload that. Suitability letter, again, use 360's version or do a manual version. Evidence of submission, product transfer authority acceptance form or screenshot, again. Get the final screen from Accord or Santander saying, thank you very much for staying with us, we really appreciate it. Grab a screenshot of that as well so we know it's done. Obviously, if there is some lenders, especially in the specialist buy-to-let market, will ask for a signature. I think Skipton might ask for a signature as well from the top of my head. Make sure you upload that one, the signed offer acceptance. Again, obviously, copy of offer letter as well from the lender. Again, due diligence risk assessments, same as the last sheet, really. As affordability and properly assessed against the bank statements and as plausible assessment being applied, do the pay slips match the bank statements? Are they paid on the same date as the pay slip is issued? Latest accounts and return obtained from check to each company's house. Again, we've just covered that in the other one, but it's definitely worth doing. Has the product transfer option been fully justified and a remortgage option fully assessed? Why was it more suitable to go with a product transfer? Was it they left it too late, a remortgage application wouldn't go through? Was the saving of moving to another lender not significant enough by the time they pay maybe a fee to yourselves and pay legal costs? Although they would have saved 50 quid a month elsewhere, might not have been justifiable by the time they make their takeover expense into consideration of the remortgage process. So these are things to consider on that side as well. Have we had any questions again?
We just had one about why is the lender's affordability calculator necessary. So I've just covered that off. But yeah, just exactly what I said. It's to check for multiple decline dips. So again, guys, what we've got to do is we can't just single out one advisor. It's a network of advisors. So we're going to cover the full range. But yeah, multiple failed dips in a short space of time can affect someone's ability to achieve a mortgage. So I don't think it's too much to ask for. In my opinion, just an affordability calculator should really be doing it anyway.
Cheers, that Ryan. Appreciate it. I'm going to go on to the buy-to-let one now. So let me just share the screen again. Pretty sure you don't need me to go through the top section again. I'm pretty sure you know where we stand on that one now. That's pretty much being repeated right the way through it. Complications on the buy-to-let side is going to change depending if it's a limited company application or if it's an individual. What we are streamlining on this, so 3 months bank statements from directors' main accounts showing postal address. Gonna need the limited company business bank statements as well. If it's been newly opened for a purchase, we will need evidence of this. Obviously, lenders won't have any issue with that, but you're going to need these bank details anyway for the direct debit at the end of the application. So make sure we've got something on file, say the business bank statement, the bank account has been opened. Doesn't have to be a statement, but we're going to need those sort code and account numbers anyway. So you might as well get it and upload it to the case. Bank statements are any additional bank accounts which show any single transaction £10,000 or more, or totaling £10,000 in a 1 month period that isn't evidenced in the income and expenditure or notes on the fact find. I think that makes sense to everyone. I don't see why we wouldn't be getting that anyway. Obviously, some large portfolio landlords might have multiple companies holding different assets. You may see these large transactions. For some of these clients, they might have multi-million pounds worth of properties. £10,000 seems a drop in the ocean to them. But from our point of view, from a financial crime point of view, we need to have that evidence. Latest 2 years tax calculations and overviews of self-employed. Again, we should be getting them anyway. If gifted deposit, bank statement from donor, ID from donor, gifted deposit letter, lender's gifted deposit form as normal. Proof of deposit, if purchase and funds kept separately from supplied bank statements. Again, if it's a new SPV, you might see that being introduced from the customer's account and it may not be in their main account. So we need to see where those funds have come from. Again, it's an AML check, it's financial crime check. It's to make sure that the money's come from a legitimate source. They haven't had it deposited from someone into another bank statement, moved it through a couple of different bank accounts, moved it through a couple of accounts, and then provided it to the company. We just need to keep on top of that. We haven't put in there that's required, but you're going to need it for most lenders anyway. And if they do ask for it, company accounts if it's a remortgage or a long-standard professional landlord. So again, you may just need them, but it's not necessarily a requirement for us. As an individual, pretty much as you'd expect, 3 months bank statements from customers' main account showing postal address. Bank statement for clients' additional bank account if there's a transaction of £5,000 or more, slightly less than a limited company side, because as I said, limited companies that often are transferring large sums of money, but £5,000 or more in a 1 month period. Latest 3 months pay slips if employed for all jobs. So one job we didn't ask for on the limited company side, we are asking for it on the individual side. Latest 2 years tax calcs and overviews if necessary. You probably are going to need them as well unless they're a new landlord, because if they're receiving pay slips, they're going to be doing tax returns to clear the rental side of things. Again, if gifted deposit, ID from donor, usual stuff, we don't need to hear it again, but you think you've got to get on that now. Again, if purchased, where the funds kept, please supply the bank statements. We need that proof of deposit. And again, if it's a remortgage or currently let, we need a copy of that AST. Case documentation, same as everything else really, full fact find, evidence of research. We will need a lender's rental calculation. Obviously, you should be doing that anyway, since you will have noticed yourselves as experienced brokers 5 years ago when the rates were 1%, every buy-to-let met criteria on the rental ratio calculators. Since the rates have gone up, it's not as straightforward as it once was, so you will be checking that anyway. So while you're checking it, get a screenshot for us. ESIS KFI, DIP certificate, suitability letter, application form, buy-to-let addendum. I know a few of you hate this. It's not fun. I know it was one thing we were considering or trying to get rid of as best we could. I did have a few complaints on some one-to-ones with it. We don't necessarily need it in place, but we need the portfolio. The lender's going to ask for it anyway. So let's either get a portfolio or get it on the fact find. If you're comfortable with the addendum, do the addendum. All other docs specifically requested by lender, SA302, additional payslips, trading accounts, bank statements, business bank statements. Just because it's in a personal name as well doesn't mean it doesn't trade as a business. It just might not be a limited company. I've had clients in the past who have got a completely separate Starling or Monzo account, which is just their rental business, even though it's on the company name. So make sure we are seeing evidence of rental deposits, because it may not be going into their main account. Again, submit the case to the CRM within 7 days of application. Obviously, further documentation post-submission, you're going to read your offer letter, any changes, down valuations, change of loan amount, or change of product, amend the suitability letter, get it on 360 for us. If protection is sold, please follow the protection sales process. Again, due diligence of risk, similar to the other ones. Has the affordability been assessed? Obviously, we did have this discussion yesterday in-house. There could be changes in what may necessarily be needed for affordability if a client is doing top slicing. It's a point Natalie brought up, and she was quite right to do so. So obviously, although we're not necessarily asking for it, let's just get on the same page. Let's not try and hide anything. If it's top slicing and you're using income, let's get it evidenced as well. Have payslips been reviewed and income checked against bank statements? Same as before. Let's have a look at the director and shareholder on company's house. Latest accounts and returns obtained and checked against company's house. We covered that before as well. Check for signs of scheme abuse. Is the client looking to purchase a buy-to-let for residential use or vice versa? Are they having a family member living in it? Are they one key one is a lot of people get buy-to-lets and they're buying it off a family member. Is the family member definitely going to be leaving that property? Is the buy-to-let property valued more than their residential property? Why would you be buying a £500,000 buy-to-let if you're living in a £100,000 house? Makes no sense. So obviously, sense check it. Make sure we're covering all these. We don't want you guys getting in trouble. We don't want to get in trouble ourselves. Excuse me. Is everything being answered in the chat box if anything's coming? I'll check myself then. Bear with me a second. I can see Ryan put a message in there. If in the first slide you did not say the then it isn't required anymore. Natalie's replied to that. Exactly right. It isn't required anymore. But the alternatives is if you're not going to do it, we need the portfolio. So she's exactly right what she said there. Anthony, I'm doing a case at the moment where two parent members are gifting a deposit. Already said I didn't need anything from the parents apart from the letters/templates, which I have. If I submit it today, do I still need the parents' accounts? I didn't need them previously. We'll come back to you on that one because I'm not 100% sure. These processes are really what I've been working on. I'm not massively sure on the previous one, so I'll sit with Natalie and get an answer back to you on that, unless you can answer that now for us, Natalie. For buy-to-let applications, would you still need the credit card and personal loan statements? No, I don't believe we're going to need them at all. So unless, there is huge transactions to a credit card and the clear living of it, I've had clients in the past who clear a monthly credit card bill of £5,000. They're using all the personal expense on it. We can't actually evidence their income and outgoings effectively based on their current account. I have a client who use an American Express card. They're on it all day, every day, and we can't really get a justification of their personal circumstances. So If they appear to be using a large amount of credit cards and they're clearing a lot of it each month, or you're missing a certain amount of transactions, which you think we should have, then yeah, ask for them, but we don't necessarily require them. So protection sales process, you might be seeing the pattern now at the top again. In terms of business, ID, proof of address, AML PEP check, screenshot sanction search, straightforward enough. Be pleased to know this page looks a lot smaller than the rest. Full fact find complete with objectives and expectations, including the vulnerable customer notes. We need the comparison report, illustration quote from the insurer, demands and needs letter, completed application form, copy of terms, change of premium, change of cover, exclusions of any special terms applied for cover, the policy schedule, the statement of the insurance, policy replacements document if applicable, submitted on the CRM within 7 days of application for checking. Hopefully that's nice and straightforward for you. Just double check in the chat box to make sure I'm not missing anything. I think Lee's answered everything there for me. Thank you very much. Just bear with me. Right, we have the second charge sales process. Believe it or not, we're going to need your terms of business signed. We're going to need your ID, your address, AML, PEP check, usual stuff. And it's not because we get into a bit of a routine now. Latest 3 months bank statements from main account showing postal address. Bank statements for clients' additional bank accounts if there's a single transaction of £10,000 or multiple transactions equivalents. £5,000 or more for personal buy-to-lets. 3 months pay slips if employed, and then obviously multiple jobs, we're going to need all of them. Latest 2 years tax calcs and overviews if self-employed. Evidence of income into retirement if applicable. Mortgage statement for the first charge. So obviously we're doing a second charge, we need to know what's going on with the first charge. Full fact find complete with objectives and expectations, including vulnerable customer, debt consolidation notes if applicable. Again, fairly obvious. Proof of the repayment vehicle if interest only. Proof of affordability into retirement if applicable. Evidence of research, including research for alternative product options. You know, obviously we're doing a second charge here, so they're not going to be able to do a standard remortgage. There's a reason we're going down this route. Let's make sure we're explaining it accurately. ESIS, KFI, protection sourcing and quote if regulated, suitability letter, application form, all the other docs specifically requested by the lender. You know, we've already covered that, but we know what we need to do on that side. If it's a buy-to-let, you know, as we had in the chat box before, the buy-to-let addendum isn't necessarily needed. You can use it if you want, but the key points we're looking for is the property portfolio or all the properties being added to the CRM and the fact finds. As I said, it's your call on that side, but you don't need to do it. I did have complaints about the buy-to-let addendum. People didn't like it. Your call whether you want to use it, but we do need the property portfolio. Just while we're touching on the property portfolio, what do we need to have on that? I'm sure you've seen it with lenders, but it's the property address, postcode, who owns it, is it a company, is it an individual name, value, mortgage balance, mortgage monthly payment, rental income, who the current mortgage provider is on those properties. Some lenders will ask for a purchase date as well, but you know, you're going to need it anyway, so you might as well get it on side. Submitted the case on the CRM within 7 days, believe it or not. It's the same on every case. And further documentation required post submission, copy of offer from lender. If there be any changes down the line, we've touched on it already. We'll touch on it again. Is there a down valuation causing change to loan amount? Get it on 360. Let us know. Amend the suitability letter. If protection is sold, please follow the protection sales process and documents required. So that's second charge, very similar to a first charge, just a few other points on there about why we're going down that route.
Tim, just to clear off, so
Yeah.
these still need to be referred in, second charges at the moment, but just to let everyone know that we are having discussions about how we could potentially open that up, but it is still a referral. We're just showing you oversight of that document for now, just in case that does open up at some point. So we'll put out any communication based on second charges, but they do need to be referred in still at the moment.
Yeah, no problem at all. Sorry, I should have caveated that, guys. But yeah, we will hopefully be opening the door for that, as Ryan said, in the future. But at the moment, yeah, they will be referred in. But hopefully one day you might have the possibility of doing them as well. What else have we got on here, Ryan? That we haven't touched on.
So have you done protection, GI?
GI we haven't done, and we've got the equity release one, I think.
Don't need to do that one. That's fine. That's just for internal, that one.
That's just the internal side. So, okay, GI it is. Open that up and my mic was muted. I don't know how to change it back, so bear with me a second. Said 2 hours this, didn't we, Ryan? I think we're racing through this.
You bolted quicker than the horses at Aintree, pal.
So the general insurance sales process, I'm sure everyone doesn't want to listen to my voice that much longer. It is getting a bit croaky. I was at the football last night and I was shouting quite a lot and singing. So my voice might be getting a bit croaky now, guys, so bear with me. So general insurance sales process. Guess what? We need the terms of business, photo ID, proof of address, and an AML PEP check. You wouldn't believe it, would you? Fact find needs to be completed. Research comparison from 2 providers. Illustration quote, demands and needs letter, application form, policy schedule, statement insurance, submit to us, get paid. That's all you want to do on that one. So you don't want to be wasting too much time. We know GI, it's not a huge payer for you. So we don't want you wasting loads of time on it. We want that streamlined as quickly as possible. But, while you've got the case there, you've got a client buying a house, remortgaging a house, their insurance is up. It's money for old rope. So go and get that while you can. And no, it doesn't pay you a fortune. But what I used to find as well, you write that general insurance to someone, people don't cancel it. So you're going to get paid on that every year for as long as until the client decides not to pay it anymore. So you might as well be targeting that while you're there. You obviously can refer in. We've got Rose in the office who does a lot of this for you guys. Refer it in if you don't want to do it, but there's an opportunity there, so don't miss it. I think that is everything. Can't think of anything I've missed, Ryan, or Natalie Louise. I haven't missed anything off.
No, just to further that, obviously you'll be issued with copies of all the new processes and documents. Everything will be updated in the advisor portal, customer portal, so you'll have copies of everything. You'll have copies of your new terms of business as well. I must stress this. Obviously, there is going to be a crossover period, so there was a slide in there. So again, if you do need support or you're struggling, we understand it's a new process, so please do reach out to the team. If you are struggling with the new process, reach out to any of us and we'll be happy to help. One thing I will say, we'll never keep every advisor happy, but hopefully you are a little bit happier how we've tried to streamline each process down and separate the products. So hopefully that'll improve your advice, customer journey, all that kind of stuff as well. But yeah, and any questions at all, just reach out to any of the team, and we'll jump on a call, Zoom, whatever you need to, to make you understand the processes a little bit better.
Thanks very much. I see that Ty has his hand up virtually. Ty, do you want to unmute yourself and have a question?
I think he's just doing Alan Shearer.
You just celebrating a goal over there, Ty. You just put someone 1-0 up.
Hi,
No,
can you hear
Ty.
me?
Oh yeah, I can hear you now, Ty.
Sorry, I was trying to find it. I have a question going back to what you said about the the gifter giving. How many bank statement do you need if we are collecting the donor's bank statement?
1 month.
1 month.
Just
Yeah,
1 month.
1
Okay,
month.
that's great. Thank you.
Yeah, it's just to check where the funds are coming from. Obviously, again, I've seen it myself in the past with clients. They say they're getting a gift from parents. You get the gift, you get the bank statement from the parents, and they've had 15 grand dropped in their account the day before the gift is on. It's a huge red flag. So it's just a caveat that really.
Okay. One other, if I can ask you a follow-up question, it's related to what you said somewhere before. If somebody's got a residential property, but they're also buying a buy-to-let property, which is significantly more expensive, or maybe in some cases slightly more expensive, how do we navigate that in terms of if this, well, it's a buy-to-let, it's a bigger property, more rooms, that's where you're buying because it's a buy-to-let. Would that be a sufficient explanation? What sort of explanation would you be expecting to note on our fact find in order to navigate that sort of scenarios?
It's just a question you've got to ask to the applicants and have an understanding why. Now that could vary for a huge different amount of reasons, but it's make sure you've got it in the fact find, the explanation that the client gives you. So, it could be a client who has, a lovely house, might be a 500, £1,000 house somewhere, could even be more, but then they've got a HMO valued at 2 million, but they're not going to go and live in a HMO, are they?
No.
So it's having an understanding of why they're doing it.
Okay.
They're not going to have a single residential unit likely bigger than their own property. Otherwise, they'd live there themselves or in a better area. You see it a lot in the past where, I'll use parts of Liverpool, for example, because I'm familiar with it, but you've got parts like Bootle, which aren't a very nice area, fairly cheap housing. Someone might live there and then they're buying a house in Formby, which is where the footballers and that live. You're not going to live in Bootle and rent a house out in Formby if you've got the opportunity to move there. So it's having an understanding of why they might. It's not just on value; it can be about location, but it's having a good understanding of why it would be worth more than their house. It's not out of the question. It's not unrealistic. It can happen, but it's having that understanding and making sure that's in the fact find to cover ourselves.
Thank you very much.
VJ, I see your hand up as well.
Hi, Tim. The same example that you have given for gifted deposit of parents. Say if they have, if you see a transaction of money coming into the parents' bank statement, a couple of days before, big lump sum, 15K, 20K, 30K. So what do? We ask them the transaction of that or the bank statement of where it came from the parents or the gifter?
If it's come from another one of the parents' accounts, yeah, we need to follow the money. So if they've transferred it into their account from another one of their accounts, we're going to need to see that one as well. So have the conversation with the client. If you explain why you're doing it, I've had it myself in the past. If I say, this is the reason I've got to cover this, they're on side and they will understand why you're doing it. The key one is if the money is being deposited from externally to the client's parents. So the client's parents provide the bank statements and it's come from John Smith, 20 grand the day before. That's a red flag. But again, it's not a decline. It's not that we can't proceed. It may be a case that it could have been inheritance. Property is just being sold and it's being deposited by a solicitor. We've just got to have that explanation, understanding where that money's come from. Just because they've had it deposited in doesn't mean it's a no-go. Let's just get the understanding and make sure we, like we said in one of the cases earlier on, if a third party like the FCA or someone in our office picks up your file, we need to understand what's going on the case. So as if you're an absolute idiot and we need to look at it with no history of understanding what's going on, you might understand what's going on, but we won't. So just everything's got to be clarified in writing.
Okay. How far do we go back to? If it is coming from a third party or one of their business accounts, then we ask their business account statement, or if it is coming from a third party, do we ask the third party's bank statement?
No, we can't ask for the third party, but we need an explanation why it's come from a third party. We can't ask for someone's bank statements who's completely unrelated to the application, because otherwise you could be going back to the dawn of time of every time a piece of money is being moved, and it's outside our boundaries anyway. But we need, if they have had £20,000 deposited into their account, where has that come from, mate? Is what we'd be asking.
Okay, no, perfect. Thank you.
No problem. Thanks very much, Vijay. Is everyone else happy? I can't see any other hands raised. I haven't noticed any more questions, but I could be missing it.
Can't believe Jim stayed quiet throughout, Tim.
Who was Jim?
Jim, I can't believe it.
Is he here? Is he?
He's in. He's in.
Oh, is he? Hiya, Jim. You all right, mate?
Morning.
It's always a pleasure to hear your voice, mate.
Listen, everything's been clear. I don't think there's anything that's been missed. And as I say, there's going to be bits and pieces that are going to be rolled out from here, and obviously everything will get clearer and become more apparent as we go along. But to be honest with you, there's no drastic changes in there. There's nothing that's going to affect business. All that should do is speed up the process. So it should be good for all.
Exactly right, Jim. As I said, what we're trying to do here for all you guys is make this process more streamlined, easier to follow. We try to cross as many of the processes over as we can to make it more uniform, but obviously for different cases does have different requirements. The key one for me, which I think everyone's going to be happy with, is the reduction in documentation for the product transfer. That's huge because it's a product transfer. You don't need 3 months bank statements, 3 months pay slips, everything else that came with it. We're trying to make this as easy as possible for you guys, and it's a lot to take in. A lot of things are staying in situ. Terms of business, only having one signature as well. I came into this company and saw the existing terms of business, and there was 6, 7 signatures and initials everywhere. Yeah, I can understand why it's needed, but I think we can get out of that sort of mindset now, and we're just trying to make your lives easier. Obviously, not only if you have any questions with regards to this, you can get in touch with us. The communication lines are open. But obviously, if you're not happy with something or you think something should be done differently, we're all ears, so we welcome the feedback. So please don't hesitate to get in touch. At the end of the day, we are on your side. I know when you're getting your files checked, it doesn't always seem that way. I've been on the receiving end of that myself. But we are on your side. We want to better your business. We want you to make more business. We want you all to be very successful. We want to work with you. So please don't hesitate to get in touch if you need any questions, if you have any recommendations, we're all ears. On that note, if anyone's got nothing else to add or there's no more questions,
Tim,
I'm happy to let you all go.
There is a question that Natalie's received from email, but I just don't understand it.
Okay. I just use my email. Who shall I be using to provide the above checks to get screenshots you will now require? Who shall I be using? I'm not sure what that means myself. I don't know who it's come from. But who should I be using to provide the above checks to get screenshots you will now require? Nat, forward that email on to me. I'll get in touch with them. Or the financial sanctions.
Right, okay.
Yeah, it's the government page, isn't it, Ryan? Would we be able to send an email out to that link?
Yeah, that's fine. Yeah, we are working on looking at something that's a little bit more automated. But yeah, you can use the government one.
Yeah. Well, many of our brokers use Verify for full AML and ID checks. We're still happy for everyone to use Verify, aren't we?
Yeah, it's absolutely fine. You can use government one, Verify. There's loads of different ones that you can use. Just a quick one, Tim, before we round off. Just to let everyone know that we are working on suitability letters with 360 to try and make them automated. I know it's a bit of a pain for you at the moment, but we're not that far away. So hopefully they'll be a little bit more automated for you in about a week or two maximum. So hopefully that'll be more exciting news for you.
Thanks, Ryan. Appreciate it. Yeah, we obviously there are going to be a lot of changes coming in the next few months. Obviously, this is the first of many, which is all going to hopefully improve your guys' processes with ourselves, and hopefully we'll be growing as a network as well, making your lives easier, making it easier for us as well, and hopefully use all a lot more money as well. Streamline your time. The key part is we don't want you. No one likes doing the admin side, so let's try and streamline that as much as process so you can do what you really enjoy doing, which is writing the business, getting in front of the clients. And obviously, we're more than happy to help you. I know Ryan's got a few ideas to help you with social media, to help get your business out there. We obviously want to help you. So, we are here for that reason. We are on your side. We're not against you. We want to work with you. So I think we'll leave it there. If everyone's happy, there's no more questions. We have got the staff's contact details, you got emails, you got the phone number. Don't hesitate, give us a shout. And I'm pretty sure you've all got my email, but if not, I'll make sure that's circulated as well. Thanks very much for your time today, guys, and we'll see you all soon.